It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Call us on your cell phone.
Culinary Hotline Bling.
That can only mean one thing.
You know what time it is? It's time for the Culinary Hotline Bling. Ting, ting, ting. Give us a call on 0214309881. We've got our food experts here, Peter and Anel. Good morning. So good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Peter feeling especially amazing after Liverpool's 7-0 drubbing of Maribor.
Finally, my team have won something.
Let's not talk about that. Anyway, let's get right on with it, shall we? Our first question comes from Rodney, all the way from Nelspruit. Good morning, Rodney.
How are you?
I'm very, very well, thank you. Thanks for the call. What is your culinary conundrum?
I just wanted to ask you about the chocolate cupcake. How does it you working? What ingredients do you put there?
Chocolate cupcakes. Are you planning to make them for somebody special?
Yes, sir.
Who?
It's my girlfriend.
Oh, for the girlfriend.
Purpose. Okay.
If he does a good job, it could become a wife, yeah?
Hey, listen,
Yeah, it's
listen.
Katia I'm talking to.
It is indeed. All right. So listen up. Here goes your recipe to make chocolate cupcakes.
Rodney, I've got it for him. It's just remember all your ingredients room temperature. That's a big thing.
Yes.
So you've got your flour. You've got to please sift all your stuff to get a bit of air. Peter, can you help me with that?
So that's to get the air in there.
Yeah, cocoa powder, all your dry ingredients first.
Even the sugar.
Yeah, even the sugar.
Isn't it too thick? The grains too
Yeah,
much?
man, market. I would actually use softer sugar. Or finer
Yes.
sugar. What is it?
Caster sugar.
Caster
Caster
sugar.
sugar. Yeah. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, and then you've got your bicarb, your bakpoeier, and your salt to go in there, and that is
See,
fun.
Peter didn't learn that old technique of sifting where you beat it against your hand like this. He's like bang, 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 in the bowl.
And he's making a hell of a noise in this
I'm a
kitchen.
chef, man. We do it properly. I'm not a haze quirker or whatever.
So all the dry ingredients are sift, and then you just mix all the wet ingredients.
All right, so you're going to go with 2 eggs.
Yeah.
All right.
Some oil and some buttermilk for some extra moisture.
All righty.
But you know what I do, and I know it sounds very controversial. I gooi everything like this in a mixer. I don't even mix it beforehand.
Oh, okay.
So
That's if you have a mixer, right?
Yeah, if you have got a mixer,
fancy
I
like
throw
Anel.
everything in the
In
mixer
Anel-
without anything. And
Anel
I
is
just-
morsing op the tafel and
All
alles.
over me.
I'm
all over
sorry,
you.
Peter, but you are supposed to wear an apron. I don't know what's going on with you.
Oh, he's feeling confident. The
Cheapers, you're in
Liverpudlian
the
man.
kitchen.
Rodney, I hope you're paying attention. So it was very easy so
Yeah,
far. We've
and
had
then-
some sugar, flour, cocoa powder,
Yeah.
eggs, oil,
Coffee.
and
Coffee for flavour as well. A bit.
Coffee.
It adds to the chocolatey flavour. You're going to add some choc chips.
get in there.
And a little bit of vanilla essence.
All right, that
then you
enhances the
bake it.
flavor a little bit, and then you bake it.
For
So,
about 12 minutes.
is there a danger of over mixing? Because I know that when you're
Okay.
baking, that
When
sometimes.
putting the oven.
No, there's a huge chance.
All right, Rodney, are you following the recipe?
Yeah, I'm listening, yeah.
Excellent,
And
excellent.
Rodney, the recipe is on Expresso.
Yes,
so,
expressoshow.com.
Yeah.
So check it out there if you want a reminder. And then after that, you get it into your cupcakes
Yeah.
paper.
What I always suggest, just give the cupcake holder a little spray with some spray and cook, just so that you know when you do pull them off, it's going to come out.
Excellent.
And to get even cupcakes, I use an ice cream scoop and I scoop it out
Oh.
and each one, so it's exactly the same amount.
Excellent. And then, of course, the icing at the end?
That's just a butter icing. I mean,
Butter
that's it.
icing, yeah.
And you can put anything on there. I like to put crunchies and peppermint crisp, and I just dot it up. So Rodney, whatever your girl likes, whatever chocolate, whatever she likes, you just gooi it on top.
And then the oven temperature 180 or 200, and that's probably about just under 15 minutes.
Yeah, under 15, 12 to 15 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. Rodney, was that easy enough for you?
Okay, okay.
Excellent. Well, try it out, and once you've made your beautiful cupcakes for your lady, send us a picture so we can see how she liked them. Thank you so much, and of course, we'll keep our lines open. 0214309881. We'll continue shortly with the Culinary Hotline Bling. Ting, ting, ting.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Call us on your cell phone.
Culinary Hotline Bling. And in that short time, Anel has done something wonderful to her hair. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it looks cool. We love it. We love it.
The viewers don't like my hair in front, so we're going to put them at the back now.
Anyway, listen, we're still taking your calls on 021-4309-881 for the Culinary Hotline Bling. Ting, ting, ting. Fabian Roux asked this on Facebook. The best way to clean a cast iron grill pan?
Okay, it's not so much how to clean it, it's how to look after it.
Okay.
Okay, so you can clean it however you want. What you need to make sure is that once you've cleaned it, you take a nice bit of oil, canola oil or sunflower oil, rub it over it so it doesn't rust.
Okay.
So that is the most. But what happens when you deal with a cast iron? It's very brittle. So whether it's a porky pot or a griddle pan,
Yes.
you need to make sure that the increase of temperature and the decrease of temperature happens slowly. That's why
Okay.
because it's so brittle, if you take it from that hot fire and put it into cold water, it's going to crack. So that's the most important.
There we go.
And so also when you clean, the way I see it is, don't take a hot pan and put it under cold water because something is going to happen to it.
Yes.
If you want to clean it, make the pan hot. I like to keep it hot. And then very hot water, I let it rinse. And then it cleans so much easier.
Okay.
Kaz, just on that, if you are using a griddle pan, if you allow the proteins to actually be cooked before you move it, then you wouldn't actually have to wash your griddle pan.
Okay.
Because then the meat's not going to stick to it. So people tend to move their meat way before the protein cooks. So you let it, you sit it there, and you leave it there for a good 5 minutes or so. Then you give it a little shake. You'll see it will want to come up. Then and you turn it over.
There we go. Instead of leaving them stuck onto the pan. Brilliant, brilliant answer there. Let's get another question on the line right now. All the way from Kimberley is Valerie. Morning, Valerie.
Ach, goeiemôre.
Hallo,
Gaat
Valerie.
het goed?
Ach, ek wil net vra hoe pumpkin roll. If I bake it with dairy underneath, what must I do?
Okay.
Must I bake it?
Yeah.
So we've got a doughy pumpkin roll. So soggy bottom kind of issue, if you will.
Ja, we don't like sake buttons. A pumpkin roll is maar dieselfde soos 'n Swiss roll.
Yes.
So jy bak 'n dun laag in die oond teen omtrent 180 grade. Maak seker al twee van jou elemente werk, Valerie.
Okay.
Please make sure of that. And that it's in the center so it bakes evenly from the top. And when you take it out, just make sure that it's done. Jy moet dit voel as dit terugbounce is it done.
Okay.
And then the important thing is the cooling down. You turn it around and you put a wet towel over it of 'n nat lappie en dan iets bo-op it so it can cool
On a
down.
cooling rack, not straight onto a surface.
Ja, not straight on surface. So dit is vir my net
Ja.
ja.
I think-
En dan as jy dit oprol, I think your chances are less of getting a soggy bottom.
But when you're baking as well, I think to make sure that you get an even top and bottom is to make sure that your oven's on convection oven. So you've got the two lines with the fan.
Yes.
That's what you're looking for.
Okay,
so
because
then
that
heats
and dries as well, if you will.
Absolutely,
Inside the
yeah.
oven. Okay, Valerie, brilliant question. Thank you so much. Try out that tip and let us know how it works for you. We've got another caller on the line. Hazel from eThekwini, Durban. Hello, Hazel.
Good morning, Kathleen. Thank you for taking my call. I just wanted to find out what is cornmeal. I wanted to make southern fried chicken. I didn't have the spice. And a friend told me to use cornmeal.
Okay.
What is cornmeal? Is it
Southern
mini
fried-
meal or what is it?
Southern fried chicken.
That's actually a very good question. It could be either. It's just corn that's been ground. So
Okay.
where people get a little bit confused is with what we call millipap.
Yes.
Okay. The Italians call polenta.
Yes.
It's very much the same. It's just the grains being either a little bit finer or coarser, depending.
Yeah.
But the word polenta actually means a way of cooking something, not the actual
Food itself.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're still using a corn flour to make a polenta dish.
So in Hazel's example now, she wants to make southern fried chicken and it calls for cornmeal.
She can use
use
anything.
pap?
She can use millipap.
She can use cornflakes ground.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
use anything,
Yeah.
because that all. If you've got a, I don't want to mention brands, but I've got these wonderful machines in my kitchen, and they have these beautiful attachments,
Yes.
and they've got a stone grind on it,
Okay.
so I can turn
Fancy.
normal millies into a flour.
Okay, there you go. Hazel, so do try it
Okay.
out. And southern fried chicken, I've never tried that at home.
Millipap crust.
Can you imagine? Huh? It's like having your starch
Yum,
and your
yum.
protein in one.
Yum.
Just done.
Yeah, like
right.
breakfast, lunch, brunch.
All right, on that note, we're going to keep our lines open, 0214309881. We'll be back with the Culinary Hotline bling. Sing, sing, sing. I'm on the
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Call us on your cell phone.
Culinary Hotline bling. That can only mean one thing. When you call us on 0214309881, you get into the Culinary Hotline bling. Sing, sing, sing. Taking all of your culinary conundrums and solving them for you one question at a time. We got a call from Mrs. Whitehair. in Johannesburg. I promise I
White
didn't.
hair.
White hair. I didn't make that up. I promise.
Isn't that
She asked about flour substitutes because she is gluten intolerant. So when a recipe calls for flour, what she can then use as a substitute.
There's so many different flours out there now that you can use. I mean, we have some here. We have almond flour. We have some
Soya
flour.
Soy flour?
And this is a
Tapioca.
tapioca flour. Okay, but what happens is you can't just use it as a straightforward substitution. You need to actually read up a little bit about it, and you might have to add one or two things to it in order for it to work.
Yeah, because obviously they would react differently to
Absolutely.
ingredients than what baking flour
if it
would
said 100 grams of cake flour, you couldn't just put in 100 grams of this and it'll come out the
Yes,
same.
that's
So
it,
you need
that's
to read a little bit about it. But Google's so incredible nowadays, and
Yeah.
it's,
Now, there's fantastic recipes on the internet and on Expresso's website. But what I like as well is coconut flour, and I use it a lot with tarts and stuff for bases, and especially the almond as well, because it adds a lovely nutty flavour to it as well.
Yes.
So I really enjoyed it, especially if you make like a chocolate tart or something. Also gluten-free with your base. And I make it with almond and coconut.
Yeah.
Delicious, divine.
But bearing in mind these flours are very expensive.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Obviously, the healthy options happen to be. Question from me though: is there a case in which you should not substitute flour with something else? Like for instance, I was thinking now, if you were making, let's say, cupcakes, where using almond flour might not be a good idea because that would completely ruin the recipe.
Yeah, you could add a little bit. You could add some to enhance the actual texture and the flavour, but you can't substitute it as one for the other.
Well, what other examples might there be where you wouldn't be able to substitute flour
Bread.
for something? Bread.
Okay, you can't just put almond into making like a sourdough bread or something.
gonna work.
It's not just not going to work.
Yeah.
So bread is a very, very complicated thing when it comes to gluten-free. I hate gluten-free bread. It tastes like cardboard. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, but I don't enjoy it. But if
you have to.
I'd just rather don't eat bread, you know. But bread is a big thing. Bread is a big thing. But there's loads and loads of gluten-free recipes on the internet and very good ones as well.
Okay.
Where you can substitute the flours.
Well, maybe one day we might do a blindfold test and see whether Anel enjoys our version of gluten-free
Please
bread.
try that.
Let's
I would
do
like
that. You know.
I would like that. I'm telling you one thing. I'm gonna hate it. I'm probably gonna. It's like Zola and a banana.
Okay.
It's about it's about the same reaction.
How do you feel about gluten-free bread?
For me, it's not so much of a concern because firstly, I'm not gluten intolerant, and so when it comes to eating, I just try and have whatever it is I eat in good proportion. You know what I mean?
Such
So
a good
don't
boy.
overdo it.
Such a good
Don't
guy.
overdo it.
That's why I always say, like, if you're going to eat bread, make sure it's a good bread.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
cheat properly.
Just not applicable to all forms of life.
Talking
okay?
about food here.
Food. When it comes to food, if you cheat, then make sure that you cheat properly. Okay, let's quickly go on to this question, and hopefully we can answer it theoretically. Otherwise, we might go into the practicality of it later on. But Kako from Clarksdorp said, whenever making blueberry cake, blueberries sink to the bottom. So how does that happen, and why does that happen?
It happens for a simple reason that it's too heavy and it doesn't stick to the dough. So what you do, you just take a bit of the flour that you use in your cake or in your mixture and you mix it through the berries so they coat the berries. And then you fold your berries in and then they're going to stick inside and they're going to not go to the bottom. This is a question we get a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. You probably know that
blueberries
answer.
sinking to the bottom of the...
What I tend to do as well, like if I'm making, I don't do many dessert things, but I have a wonderful cheesecake recipe. But I do it with blueberries. And I find if your mixture of your cheesecake is thick enough, then they're not going to drop to the bottom.
Okay.
And what I tend to use is tinned blueberries because they have the sugar and everything around it. So they actually, and what I do is I put it in, and then I let it set for about an hour, and I give it a stir. So then you have those beautiful blue lines going everywhere as well.
Yes.
And then you let it set, and then you'll find the blueberries are all over.
But it's berry season now.
So get in there.
Use them, It's berry season.
Absolutely, but the tin, there's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with
wrong
tin.
with tins, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the tin fruit.
Well, there you have it. We'll keep our lines open 021 430 9881 for the Culinary Hotline playing.
Ting, ting, ting.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Call us on your cell phone.
Culinary Hotline playing. Okay, we're back again in the kitchen with the Culinary Hotline bling. Ting, ting, ting. Taking all your questions on 021 430 9881. Vanessa from Durban wanted some tips, I guess, the do's and don'ts of making bobotie.
Sure, dis 'n moeilike ding, want bobotie is actually so easy to make. So I think you
Give me a quick rundown. I know the raisins, right? There's raisins in there.
You've got like a mincemeat, just get good quality mincemeat.
Yes.
That is the big thing. You get like a masala or curry that you add into it. You have to have like, I use lemon leaves as well. I add some lemon leaves and that adds some
Lemon
flavor.
leaves?
Yeah, the lime leaves.
The lime
Oh,
or lemon
okay.
leaves, it adds some flavor to it. And then you use your masalas and then your egg and milk mixture. You put it over this and you bake it in the oven and don't bake it too long and it's going to droog wees.
Okay. I think from a cooking perspective, the most important part is what I do is I put my onions into a pan, okay, cook them down, put the curry powder into the pan, cook that down, and keep adding a little water, cook it into a paste. Then you take it off, okay, because remember, curry powders are raw, and if you don't do that, it's going to have that gritty, like substance to it. So you always cook your spice out first. Then what I do is I take my mincemeat into a hot pan, a little bit at a time, because then you brown it, take it out, brown it, take it out, and then what you do, once you've done all of that, you then mix that with your onions and your curry, and then you carry on exactly what...
Okay.
Yeah,
Brilliant idea. Okay.
And don't overbake it, otherwise it's like a omelette droog story. And serve it lekker with some chopped tomatoes, onions, with a bit of vinegar, or with a bit of chutney on the side, in a yellow rice.
Yeah.
And a yellow rice.
A yellow rice with rozijn.
Remember, the whole thing is already cooked, so by the time you stuff it into the oven, it's just to let that custard actually set on top. So that's all you're doing.
We have another caller on the line joining us from Cape Town. It's Frida. Good morning, Frida. Hello, Frida.
Frida.
Okay, Frida lost the line there.
We just spoke about berries just now.
Yeah, we're going to do that now, but I'm getting the question now from Frida.
Okay.
I wanted to know, so must you sift your ingredients 3 times when you are making recipes that, like we did earlier on when we made the cupcakes? Do you have to do it 3 times over to make sure that it's really, really done? Or is once enough?
For me as a chef, once is more.
Yeah.
I think in the olden days...
There's more important things to concern yourself with.
Yeah.
Like, is your temperature in the oven right?
I think in the olden days when the flour...
When I was young.
And when the flour wasn't so fine and refined as it's now. But now it's already light and fluffy, and some of the stuff I don't even sift
But
it.
you know, the thing with food as well, we've taken to such high levels now. We must remember when it first came, no one sieved anything. They just put it in together, mixed it, and it came out beautifully. So all this, you know, if it's got another little lump here or there, is it really going to kill you?
I mean, it might be a bit more crunch, eh? A bit more crunch to your recipe. All right, we were talking earlier on about the fact that berries are in season, so you want to get as many of them as possible. They're healthy for you. So if you are able to buy them like in bulk at these markets, right? How do you keep them longer so that they don't necessarily go off because they are organic?
Berries are fantastic to freeze. You can actually just throw them like that in the freezer.
Yes.
Just like that, in bags in the freezer, and then use them. You can also make beautiful compots and you know, you can fill it in soos van daai wat jy gekoop het, just cook them in a syrup, put them in a bottle.
And I mean, I saw yesterday on the show, Ewan and Graham made a wonderful smoothie.
Yes. Yeah.
And they took frozen fruits, like the frozen pineapple, put it into their little Maggi, whatever you call it.
A smoothie.
Yes,
You made a smoothie.
Yeah.
Peter, that's what you get for being a Liverpool fan. You don't know things like smoothies.
I was trying to describe the machine that it's made in without mentioning the brand. I know what a smoothie is.
Oh my
And
goodness.
then I made a beautiful salad yesterday with a kudu biltong.
A kudu biltong?
Yeah, kudu biltong. Kudu loves any berries with it. So it's kudu biltong, feta, lots of different berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, all together. And I made a lavender balsamic reduction. Fantastic.
Lavender.
Yes. I'm going to make...
I'm already getting my Zola reaction. I just like,
come on.
It tastes perfumey in my
A
mouth.
little bit, Kathleen. Gewoon nou nie die hele bos nie. Just like a little bit. It is the vibe.
Okay, all right. I'll wait for you to try it, and then I'll bring the gluten-free bread.
Okay.
And then we can do a little swap test, right?
Okay.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much for your calls and your questions on Facebook. We'll do this again next week when we join you for the Culinary Hotline Bling.
Ting, ting, ting.